This is Top Accolade Global News Updates. I am Soybifa Jackridge. TSLA succeeds in bringing its full self-driving system to China, the world's largest car market. The US electric car pioneer will be shifting into the fast lane of the global race toward autonomous vehicles. On a whirlwind trip to Belgium starting Sunday, Musk came to discuss the potential rollout of its FSD driver assistance system and the possibility of securing government approvals for overseas transfers of data from TSLA's vehicles in China. According to a source with knowledge of the trip, such data used to train self-driving systems would boost TSLA's long-term efforts to produce fully autonomous vehicles. As it did with electric cars, TSLA could prove a fierce competitor in China's autonomous vehicle segment, industry analysts and executives say, clicking its early lead in developing driver assistance systems with some autonomous features. But TSLA faces potent rivals including BYD, China's largest EV maker, and Huawei, a national tech champion, that have rolled out systems designed to navigate China's densely packed urban landscapes. Those two giants are among at least 10 automakers and suppliers that have unveiled a driver assistance system over the past 2 years that can navigate city streets and turns at intersections. Others include EV maker Speng and Li Auto and Xiaomi, the smartphone maker that recently introduced its first car, an instant hit. Any new model priced at more than $30,000 in China now needs advanced driver assistance features to complete, said Maxwell Zhou, a co-founder of DeepRoute AI, a China-based startup selling software for advanced driver assistance features now offered in China are level 2 systems, meaning they require a driver ready to take over. TSLA's FSD and its less advanced options of autopilot are also level 2 systems requiring attentive drivers. About 30 Ukrainian men have died trying to illegally cross Ukraine's border and avoid fighting in the war against Russia, which started in 2022. The spokesman for Ukraine's border service told Ukrinform news agency some lost their lives while attempting to cross a mountain river or transverse mountains, said Andrei Demchenko, according to a Ukrinform report late on Monday. Attempts to illegally cross the border occur every day. Demchenko said most of these attempts are outside of a border checkpoint on the border with Moldova and Romania. The largest number with forged document is recorded on the border with Poland. Earlier in April, Demchenko told Ukraine's state broadcaster that on average, about 10 men are stopped each day trying to illegally leave Ukraine. Last week, Ukraine suspended consular services for military-age male citizens until May 18th, criticizing Ukrainian abroad who it said expected to receive help from the state without helping its battle for survival in the war against Russia. When Jackie Yu, 48, opened his Japanese gift shop in Hong Kong more than a decade ago, the tourist and shopping district of Mong Kok was a bustling hub packed with stores, street food and tourists. Fast forward 12 years and part of the area are struggling to stay afloat. A combination of customers immigrating local heading across the border to shop in China or traveling to Japan to benefit from a weekend and a that of tourists. Yu says it's hard to make the heartbreaking decision to close the store and move it online. Hong Kong is struggling to recover since the COVID-19 pandemic, which saw many expatriates leave after a 3-year shutdown, and tourist numbers dwindle to a function pre-pandemic levels. High rents and a labor shortage are now adding to the pain. Businesses describe shopping malls as dead, with low foot traffic and shops covered with for lease or coming up soon signs. Edmund Wong, an accountancy sector lawmaker, told the city's legislature last Friday that more than 20,000 companies had registered in the first quarter of 2024, up more than 70% from the same period last year. Simon Wong, president of the Hong Kong Federation of Restaurants and Related Trades, told public broadcaster RTHQ that he estimated around 200 to 300 restaurants had closed over the past month, a trend he expects to continue. On Tuesday, Hong Kong leader John Lee played down concerns about businesses closing. The world is always changing and different industries will need to adapt, so there will be operators who are are not so successful, but newcomers are getting into the markets. Even with the Golden Week holiday starting on Wednesday, a traditional busy time for shopping and entertainment, many businesses are not optimistic. KFC Malaysia has temporarily closed outlets in the country, citing challenging economic conditions after local media reported that the closing were because of boycott over the fast food chain's perceived links to Israel. Malaysia, a majority Muslim country, is a staunch supporter of the Palestinians and some Western fast food brands in the country, as in some other Muslim nations, have been targeted by boycott campaign over Israel's military offensive in Gaza. QSR brands holding BHD, which operates KFC and Pizza Hut franchises in Malaysia, said it's temporarily closed KFC outlets in response to challenging economic conditions. QSR brand and KFC Malaysia has taken proactive measures to temporarily close outlets as means to manage increasing business costs and focus on high engagement trade zones, it said in a statement late on Monday. The statement did not address the media reports. It did not specify how many stores were affected, but local media reported over 100 outlets were temporarily closed. Employees from the affected stores were offered the opportunity to relocate to outlets in areas with higher customer engagement, QSR brands said. Indonesia's Rango volcano spewed explosive incandescent lava into the night sky early on Tuesday as lightning flashes lit up its crater, prompting authorities to raise the alert status and warn of a possible tsunami. The Center for Volcanology and Geological Hazard Mitigation (PVMBG) warned residents living on Tagulandang Island, the island closest to the volcano, that a tsunami could be triggered by volcano material collapsing into the ocean. The warning was issued on Tuesday morning, with PVMBG official Hati Tristoti saying it remained in place as of the afternoon. The agency raised the alert status of rank to the highest level following the early morning eruption, urging residents not to go near the volcano. Tuesday's eruption follows a series of eruptions earlier this month that forced hundreds to evacuate, and the airport in the provincial capital of Manado to close. The eruption also caused damage to some homes. At the time, the volcanology also issued a warning about the potential for a tsunami. Footage shared by Indonesia's disaster mitigation agency showed strikes of lightning flashing above Rang's crater as fairly red clouds of lava and rocks were projected into the air and rained down around the island. The agency said the eruption column reached 5 kilometers, that is 3.1 miles high, and urged any remaining residents about a 7-kilometer, previously 6-kilometer radius to immediately evacuate, warning of possible further explosive eruptions. Rang Island is about 100 kilometers from Manado, the capital of North Sulawesi province in the north-central region of the sprawling Indonesian archipelago. It's home to more than 800 residents, most of whom evacuated following the recent eruptions. The eruption corresponded with a spike in seismic activity and deep volcanic earthquake, the disaster agency said. Authorities downgraded the status level to level 3 last week before pumping it up again to level 4 on Tuesday. Indonesia straddles the so-called Pacific Ring of Fire, an area of high seismic activity where multiple tectonic plates meet. That is the size of top accolade global news updates. You can follow us on our social media platforms as displayed on your screen. Happy Tuesday.